we're also educators here, and this is something that's near and dear to our heart. The topic we were given this semester to work on in our Voice with cohort is alternatives to suspension. And so, me and Mrs. Galloway here will do two parts. We'll do a little bit today, and then we'll do a second part in the future where we'll go a little bit further into some of the details and specifics of alternatives to suspension. So, the word suspension is not a good word, is it? It's something that is a last resort. It's something that's reserved for administrators. And it's something we know that has negative effects, not only on students that are the victim, but also the victor. So we know that students that get suspended, we know that obviously they deal with, they're out of the learning environment. That's not good. They're not getting their education. Also, it provides low self-esteem, possible depression to the student. And I read an article the other day that schools that have this type of culture, even the students that are within the schools, their testing has been lower. I know that's not victory, but if you're in a school where the culture is suspension, it brings about a whole change in the school culture. So it causes negative effects, not just on the student getting suspended, but on other students as well. So I guess we never think about that. We think, okay, the child is out of here, they're out of my hair, it's going to be a nice quiet day. And it may be a nice quiet day, but there's some psychological effects that are going on that we may not see and may not be able to account for. So there's a lot of deeper issues to suspension that we'll go into as far as alternatives. Now, on the next slide, as you know, we are, okay, so in the news, so this year and in years past, you know that this has leaked over into legislative concerns. So you probably know that K-3, there is a limitation on the number of days that a student can be suspended, actually up to 3. Okay, that's easy to remember. So also legislators have gotten involved in long-term suspensions, and long-term suspensions are up to 45 days. Okay. So of course both of those could be amended if the school board or superintendent sees fit, depending on the circumstance. That determines the length of the suspension. So this is something that affects not only us, but it's a statewide, it's a nationwide issue. Now, before we go any further, I just want to ask you guys a question. What are some strategies, and I put some sticky notes on there, what are some strategies that we use here at Victory, or even some that you would suggest that we could use as alternatives to suspension? Or you could say behavior modifications. Maybe it's something you use in your classroom. Maybe it's something you'd like to see. Maybe it's something you heard someone else is using that's been effective. You just take a minute and on your sticky, maybe just write 1 or 2 alternatives to suspension or behavior modification ideas that you may use individually. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh, you want to name it? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Teacher now. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Things you find out, I did more ideas, more ideas.
You were so cute. You said,
What's that? What's that?
it was a, wasn't like, wasn't as far going. No, whatever.
When we were doing the panel, we were discussing different types of behavior modifications or alternative suspension strategies that you play in. You had some ideas you had moving forward.
And because,
Okay, we'll take another minute. Once you're finished, just hold your sticky note up. Come on, get it. You did five. You did five. Yeah, I've been fourth grade, right today. That's what I'm teaching fourth grade.
Yes.
And Miss Outlaw is back in grade two. She was here yesterday. Yes. Okay, so thank you guys very much. So we have a lot of interesting responses. Now, I won't go over them all with you. We'll compile these and send them to you guys, maybe in a Padlet or a Google Doc or something. But I see a lot of interesting responses. We'll leave them here for you guys to take a look at as well, because collaboration is key to, as you know, as educators, growing and learning and thriving. So, great ideas. Now I'm going to touch this. Thank you, Ms. Okay, so here's our goal and objective. First of all, we're just not here to provide you, we will provide you with a list, but we're just not here to provide you with a list of strategies and ideas like, okay, here you go, take this, do it, goodbye. No, I think it's a lot deeper than that, because as we started studying this topic in our cohort, and they put us into groups of different topics, we realized, you know what, the time you get to suspension, there are so many things that have escalated. There's so much that has taken place to get to that place of suspension. Now, granted, there are those cases where it just happens, okay? And you don't know what happened. But in a lot of cases, suspension can be avoided because there's a lot of layers that take place before the suspension occurs. And so we want to look at not just a list, but we want to help to identify the root cause of the misbehavior. Because if we can catch that, we can alleviate a lot of concern. And I know you all, as educators, have done this time and time again, where you've seen something ahead of time and you nipped it in the bud. Okay, that's that teacher's intuition. That's one of your superpowers. You're able to see things before they happen. And so I think that's key, especially for younger teachers, to be able to identify things and take care of the situation before it escalates. So we want to look at the heart of the matter. Also, we'll provide diffusion strategies for teachers to use at the onset of problematic behaviors. Now, I'll let you read this quote. This is a quote here from Vanderbilt University. I thought that was key in addressing the issue of suspension, and that it's much deeper than the actual problem itself. Okay, and so that quote pretty much said it all, and that was written towards early childhood education, which we're a part of here. And this is where it starts. I mean, we can catch these kids here when they get to middle school and high school, and we could provide for them some coaching skills, some strategies, some keys to behavior modification. It's going to make their life so much more better. Okay? So here's the root that led to the fruit, as I said. So when you get up here, okay, it's kind of late here. This is where your suspensions are happening. This is where your expulsions are happening. This is where you're like, okay, new directions, please come take them, all right? But the fact is, lack of respect, okay? That could be for themselves. That could be for the teacher. That could be for the school. That could be for others. Low self-esteem, violence is taking place. You have students that are being mean and negative to others. So these things are happening, but I guess the question is, why are they happening? As an educator, okay, we have to be like the kids. Why am I learning this? Why do I need to know this? Okay, well, we need to know, why are you acting this way? Why are you acting out in this way, this manner? Why are you doing what you do? Okay, so for a lot of our kids, I had a fourth grade yesterday from a school, and the teacher said, that student there, I'm proud of them. And we were basically, I was asking the students to read sentences they wrote. And so this child, I called him, he had his hand raised, and he read what I thought was a beautiful sentence. But he didn't have anything written down in his paper. And so the teacher told me, I'm proud of him for participating, because he's on a first grade reading level. This is fourth grade. So those are the students at times that may act out because they're frustrated. Okay? And so here we are putting down the gavel, but really Johnny's acting out because everyone else can read, but he can't read. So there's some underlying factors that we have to be sensitive to. Obviously, you know about the home issues. Okay, when I was at Victory, we had a student that came to school and his audit beat him up that night before. He was crying in tears and like, okay, that's pretty rough. I don't remember that happening when I was a kid. But there was some underlying issues that took place there. There's a lot of peer conflict, lack of engagement in our classrooms. I mean, we could do a whole PD right there on that. I mean, the problems that would be de-escalated if we had, and not saying we don't, but if we have proper engagement in our classroom 24/7, that would de-escalate a lot of behaviors. Mental health, that's something that I don't know a lot about, but it's a major issue that's affecting our society. And so we have these grown-ups that are just, it seems demonic, But the fact is, they just didn't wake up and say, okay, I've got this mental health problem. This was happening at an early age, and we didn't detect it, but there could be some mental health issues. So we're becoming a lot more aware of those things than we need to be. And then the last one, this is like the biggest one right here. And again, this is where teachers have to do everything. You have to be mom, you have to be dad, you have to be brother, you have to be sister. You have to be the drugstore, you have to be the toiletry person, you have to be the food care worker, you have to be everything to kids. And so they come to us sometimes with a lack of care and a lack of love. And so we're the only smiling face that they see that week. This is the only place they may get a hot meal. And so they're coming to us. There's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and it talks about everyone has a love tank. Okay? And if you know what that person's love tank is, you could do things that will fill it. So some people, their love tank is words of affirmation. How many of y'all like to hear someone say, you look nice today? Or you did a great job. Okay, some of you may not care. Like, I don't care what you say. Okay? Sticks and stuff, they break my bones. Okay? But kids have love tanks as well. There's a accompanying book to that that says it's the 5 love languages for children. And so they come to us and they've not, their love tank is different. There you go.
Prime example.
Prime example right there. So that's the major one right there. That's the major factor, is that a lot of these kids come to us and their love tank is not full. Okay? They're not receiving what they need at home. And so here comes the super teacher, right? Now it's up to us to step in and stand in the gap, per se, where there's some missing ways. So that's why our job is so awesome. And so that's our little behavior tree right there. We need to look more at the roots of what's happening and act it before we react, because I'm a parent too, and it's funny, I deal with 20, 30 kids all day long, and I'll get up to my 2 kids, and I gotta catch myself because I'm snapping. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, okay, and my wife will remind me, okay, you're not at work anymore, so you can't write up sicky, you can't write up sign, you can't give them a referral. No referral. So, the root that leads to the fruit. And so we do have some areas that we'll go into a little bit further in this alleyway. I'll let you take it from here.
Just like Mr. States was saying that when we're thinking about alternative suspensions, we got to think about the root causes and how we as teachers can diffuse those situations. So I in my research with diffusing disruptive student behaviors in the classroom based by Dr. Jeff Coleman, 7 key behavior principles would be goals of correction procedures. And that's when you set goals with those students about what your expectations are in the classroom, what you want them to do as far as their behavior. The role of the teacher, attention, and correction procedures. Because we have to think about our role as a teacher. How am I interacting with the student? Because our interaction, what we say to the student makes a difference in how they feel and how they respond. The nature of behavior, intensity, escalation, and diffusion. Because once it starts going and you get to a power struggle with a student, it's going to escalate and you lost control and that student has the power of the classroom at that moment. The nature of behavioral change, we'll get more into that one on the next slide. The role of behavior extension and extinction bursts. That's when a student is just lashing out in the class and just keep going over and over. You see that we're so lower elementary. The power of personal reaction, because as teachers we have to control ourselves. At the end of the day, we are the adult in the room, and we have to be able to set the example and be the model for appropriate behavior inside the school and establish key principle number 1, goal correction procedures. 3 main goals in correcting problematic behavior will be interrupt the problem behavior, engage the student or students in the expected behavior. So if you see the student making an inappropriate action, instead of just addressing it right away, you probably can talk to other students that are doing the right thing and say, I'm proud of you guys for doing this. Maybe they can catch on as opposed to, you stop that, Johnny, you can sit down right now. That way everyone is involved and the student doesn't feel singled out. We don't want them to feel like they're being put on the spot because of that behavior. Ensure the students are exhibiting expected behavior in the future. Occurrences, situations, and avoid escalating situations to more serious occurrences.
Ms. Galloway, if I may, I remember you talked in the office when we were having problems in the restroom.
Yes, sir.
How you model going in, washing the hands, towels, and all that.
Oh, yes. Like I said to Dr. Wilson a couple of days ago, last week on Friday, we had a lot of issues in the bathroom with the kids. And I know that with myself, with the girls, I can go into the bathroom. It doesn't take me any extra time to go in and model the behavior, not talking in the bathroom, washing my hands. You get in 2 paper towels, throwing them away, and coming out quietly. When the students are trying to speak to me, I cover my mouth because I want to model the behavior. We're not speaking in the bathroom. So if I can do that, they can model my behavior because I'm showing them exhibiting the action that I want students to perceive. Also, our second key principle is the role of the teacher's attention to correction behaviors. Students are going to act up as it happens because they're trying to seek our attention. Because all students want teacher attention. Problem behavior is a sure way of obtaining the teacher attention. So just because I don't understand doesn't mean I don't want your attention. Doesn't mean the student doesn't like you. This means that they need that attention. As teachers, we have to be able to properly redirect and reinforce our expected behavior and reduce that problem behavior. So with the third principle, the nature of behavior intensity, escalation, and diffusion. Behavioral intensity is a measure of the seriousness of behavior based on its impact related to the character disruption, safety, and personal social factors. Behavioral escalation is a process where a student engages in a series of behaviors in which each successive behavior is more intense than the previous behavior. That is usually when the student is going back and forth and you find yourself in a full-on conversation. The class is going on, instructional time is still rolling, but you're not teaching anymore, you're engaging with one student. And then behavioral diffusion is a process where a student engages in a series of behaviors in which each successive behavior is less intense we're trying to move towards that diffusion model of behavior problems in the classroom. So that we can diffuse the issues, we won't have to write referral, that way the student can stay inside the classroom for instructional time, and we won't lose instruction. That's the main thing over here, we're in the business of education, we want kids to be in the classroom. So our first scenario is Marietta was sitting at her desk with a bad attitude, not doing her work. She was given a reminder to get started. She then started arguing about the work. I tried to give her explanation and offer to help. She would not quit arguing, so I gave her the choice of doing the work now or after school. She became belligerent and began shouting. I gave her a warning to settle down, or she had to go to the office. She threw her books on the floor and stood up. I directed her to the office and she swung her arm and could have hit me in the face. I then called security. In this scenario, what is the series of discrete behaviors of increasing intensity in this scenario? You can talk with your table groups. What is the student doing that is to increase intensifying the behavior? That's the process, right? All right, I'm going to walk around. I heard a lot of great conversations about what the behaviors were. Everyone pretty much in the same consensus that the teacher noticed that bad attitude, and that's when she kind of started the interaction inappropriately with the student. Because from there, it just went back and forth. It just escalated. Now the student's throwing stuff down, she doesn't want to do her work. So that's definitely not the interaction we want to have with students. Now, this is it's the same scenario, but the wording is a little bit differently, and I want you to think about it slightly different than the previous scenario. Marietta was sitting at her desk looking subdued and was not doing her work. The teacher approached her, telling her it was time to get started on her work. Marietta said that she had finished it. The teacher noted that she had barely started it and that if she needed to keep help, she could have asked for it. Otherwise, she needed to get started. Marietta needed to do 10 problems, and she had completed only 2. To which Marietta shouted, "No way, I'm not doing this twice. That's not fair." The teacher told her to settle down and gave her the choice of doing her work now or doing it during a break. Marietta pushed her books on the floor and stood up. The teacher told her that she needed to go to the office and nudged her arm toward the office. Marietta vigorously swung her arm backward and nearly hit the teacher's head. So how is this a little bit different? Think about the teacher interaction and this scenario as opposed to the last one. The last one was a referral that the teacher wrote as opposed to what actually went down in the classroom.
There was a downtime in the beginning. Maybe she could talk with her. And if she didn't want to talk right away, she just had a few minutes of downtime and tell her when she's ready, I'm ready to talk with her. But you can ask probing questions, something like at home, something like at school, just different things to try to get a conversation going with her. But the first
sometimes the teachers, we don't think that we're going to, in the heat of the moment, we might get upset and go right over front about only what the student's doing and not think about what did I do to escalate the situation, what could I have done differently to, before this got to the point where the student is being belligerent, I could have done something differently in my interaction with the student.
So she was like said go to the office, she gave up power, like gave up not power, but control of what was going on. So she was clearly heated and frustrated.
Absolutely. The teacher probably was having a bad day, but I mean, that's the job. You got to be able to roll with the punches. Yes, ma'am.
The second job that I'm not doing it is she in a hallway private conversation away from the rest of the class.
Absolutely.
Because that child had an audience.
Yes.
So shoving the books on the floor, all of that, she removed the audience.
Absolutely. Okay. Now I have a handout of the interaction, but this is an interaction pathway diagram. It's a way for teachers to kind of see and analyze how their responses are.
So, one person from one table quickly share one thing that you have on your sticky note. Okay?
I said prepared, be prepared.
Be prepared, that's right, exactly, be prepared. Let's see.
Expectations,
Expectations, love it, okay.
being consistent.
Being consistent, that was yours, wasn't it? Okay. Structure, okay.
Learn your students first.
Learn your students, yes. Okay, I love it. Okay, Ms. Mitchell, so what's your table?
We have PBIS, and also the most important one is respect. So when students respect you and you respect your students, they're going to stay with whatever they need to do in class.
Wonderful. And I'm glad Ms. Mitchell mentioned that because our stations and our presentations is PBIS, isn't that something else? PBIS based. In fact, I'll show you a wonderful resource through PBIS that lets you identify the station over here. I'll go over it. It's self-assessment. You do a self-assessment, but it's PBIS. It comes from their website. Okay, the group over here. Okay, all right, very good. So, what we're going to do now, Mrs. Galloway is going to explain some of our stations that we have for you today.
Okay, we're not going to take too much of your time. We have a quick little 7-minute station just to provide a couple of strategies and we kind of get you moving around a little bit. So with the first station, we're going to talk about the behavior change source. Our interaction with students is like a chain. We have to connect with them, they have to connect with us. And it's all about our interaction with them and how we communicate. So in the station 1, you're going to sort the different phrases into teacher and student responses. So there are the header cards in each one of the bags. Next, you're going to work together to determine the order of the behavior chain. What is the order of what did the teacher start with, what did the students say, and back and forth. And finally, determine whether the teacher made appropriate responses or not, and why. Discuss that with your group. That's station 1. And then station 2, there are going to be a couple of examples of best practices to diffuse student behavior. We have some yoga examples, and I have a website for that. It's free with your Google login. Some different brain break activities and different music sites that you can also use for your class.
The third station is station 3. It's scenarios. So just read there's 2 scenarios, share them with your partner, and I just want you to read the different scenarios. It's different tiers that's taking place. So there's like a level, I guess it's a level 3 and a level 4. And so read it and discuss what would you do as the classroom teacher if you were in their place. So there's a couple scenarios, and then for station 4, there is, and this is what I mentioned that came from the PBIS website, there's a self-assessment right here at station 3. I'm sorry, it's station 3 is the self-assessment, okay? So at station 3, there is a page for everyone so you can take a self-assessment. And how many know that reflection is good? Okay, it's good for the soul, it's good for the spirit, but it's also good for the classroom, isn't it? Okay, because a teacher that doesn't self-reflect after they do a terrible lesson, that's not good, is it? Because you're going to have another terrible lesson, and you're going to have a group of kids that are not engaged, that are bored. So every day I'm like, wow, that was great, or wow, that bombed, that really sunk, okay? And so that is formative assessment, isn't it? We give formative assessments in our classrooms for our students, but we need to do that assessment ourselves, don't we? And so we do it all the time. We're doing something and it's not going well, and so we make adjustments. And so that's what self-reflection is. There's a self-reflection, self-assessment page. As you read, answer it. If you answer no for anything, turn the page over, and there's a rubric there that can kind of guide you in how to improve certain areas of your classroom management. So those are our 4 stations that we have for you today. And
kind of set a timer and kind of let you get started. And we're going to rotate from station 1. You're going to kind of rotate around the station. Well, I guess we'll rotate the stations around to you. That'll probably be easy. So when after the timer goes off, kind of put everything back in the middle, and then we'll move it around.
yeah, okay, your 7 minutes begins now. You can, that's your.
4 minutes.
Yes.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
We'll let you know. Class. I am so sorry. We are recording this, so if you don't want to be in a video, now this video isn't going to go on Newsweek or USA Today or anything like that. It's for our classroom purposes. But if you don't want to be video, just let us know and we can sit you over here in the corner somewhere or in the back. I'm just kidding. But just let us know if you can't be recorded or you don't want to be recorded. Most of the time,
It's really December
Maybe they could have elaborated a little bit more with models. You might need a more, I'm thinking kindergarten, because you have I mean, we could tell them at the beginning of the year just to see where they are. Draw a picture.
But what kind of picture you want to draw?
That's right.
You never know where they go back. It's a story. They don't know a story.
despite his
I know like these players go do like people ran in school and other people ran in activity. If you ignore him, he
So this is, okay, so these are the scenarios. So you two guys have the scenarios already.
We already have that.
Down here, thank you. And this is for the classroom that cannot move around very well by themselves. So you move the stations, right? That's yours.
No, they're all different sorts. These sorts, I want they all go to the sorts. Y'all did. Oh, you know. Oh, you guys are going to have it.
All right, with this scenario, I'm going to read this scenario. It discusses a group of many students have disruptions, and early December, all students have missed more than a week of school due to an intense
Think about your choices.
they return to school and winter break many routines were disrupted due to this planned and unplanned negative changes. Many of the students were engaging in consistent disruptive behavior and reminders of jobs. I need to we need to reteach it.
I donated everything.
And redo everything.
I read the
You still have to do it. If they want to play right this way, they get Santa Claus coming next week and then
Everybody starts with.
oh yeah. Yeah. You have to read. Let's practice again. You just wait until after next week. That's because Mama is got on and then it gets
Yeah. So, Tuesday website.
They are. They tired like we are. They tired of looking at us. They tired of hearing us. And we now really sit down. All right, read this scenario. These students decline disruption. Despite his extensive teacher-led intervention approach, one student with disciplinary starting to display intensive behavior. Bob was frequently out of his seat and he would always be being walked back. And occasional outdoor games under the pressure shouting out immediately with his ability to take his oh my god, right now. I told me what you don't talk to him. You said no fun dances, so I guess I'm going to have to talk to you too. You can
All right, pencil down, eyes on us, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so, was that helpful to anybody? Was the discussion helpful? I mean, a lot of times for me, the most helpful thing is talking to my colleagues and discussing with that. Beyond what the presenter said, the professional development is about collaborating with your team. So our time is up. And very quickly, we'll send you this because this is the resource for the self-assessment. The great thing about it is when you click the hyperlink, it takes you here. This is the PBIS form. And then you can click on this, the blue hyperlinks that you saw in self-assessment. It'll take you to a page to give you help and assistance in the areas where you need help in. It even shows you videos on what to do to help you out. So I really like this. This is my last thing. I'll let Ms. Galloway say her last thing. These are like my two big problems. It's like if you could develop this in your classroom, all the other things fall in place, but relationship and engagement, okay? So if you develop a strong relationship with your children, and I heard someone say that, okay? If you develop a strong relationship, they'll bend over backwards for you. You don't have to bribe them or beg them. Because of the relationship, they'll bend over backwards for you to do right. And then engagement. And that is, are they engaged in class? Are your lessons engaging? Are you keeping them engaged? I heard someone say, I can't give my students any downtime. And that's the truth. Unfortunately, you can't say, okay, it's reading time class, or all right, let's go and have some free time, because free time is, it's bad time, isn't it, unfortunately, because students at this age don't really know how to govern themselves. So those are like my two words for classroom management, relationship and engagement. And so as you develop those, it takes time. As you develop those, I think you'll have a much more healthy culture in your classroom. We'll give you an exit ticket as we leave out. We'll fill out the each of us, Ms. Galloway.
All right. In closing, we have some more resources. We're going to share all of these, the website and all of our resources that we use today with you on your email. But we have a couple, I don't have much to say. We just have a few more resources, and thank you all for letting us share your time today to talk about diffusing disruptive behaviors in the classroom. And I think that is good.
That's it. Thank you so much.